Hello everyone, and welcome back to part 8 of Atomic Heart. This is going to be a doozy of a video. We have quite a lot to do in this one. From where we start, we're going to go over, if you're facing the save station, go to the right. And if you go all the way over here, you can see this is a super large area. It's very, very open, and we're going to be heading in that direction. There's like a reddish building more to the right where we can't see. That's where we'll be coming out. We're going to go into an area called a testing ground, and it's under the ground. This little terminal here, this is going to show you the different testing grounds, and we'll be using these kind of like we did a couple of videos ago. We'll be using these to unlock areas. There are these flying kind of balloon looking things called hawks, and we can use those terminals to bring them down, and when they come down, it stops the bots from moving around. They all kind of get disabled. It also disables the dandelions. So we'll be doing that, and we'll be unlocking the doors that lead us to the testing grounds via these terminals. So we're going to come down the stairs. Don't worry about that marker. We're not messing with the marker for a while. We're going testing ground hunting. So once we get down here, we're going to head over to where these trucks are, and there's the red covered parking area. You can take out the dandelions as you see fit. There are lots and lots of spawning points for the little wasps, and those red cars, you can drive them if you like. We are going to drive one. We need to drive for a trophy, but I don't think we do that in this video. I think it's later on. So here we're going to follow that little walkway and go up this spiral staircase here to find another terminal. In this terminal, we're going to go into some of the cameras around the question mark yellow circle. We're going to unlock that door where the blue roof building is. We need to get into that area, and we cannot do it without unlocking the door first. So as we come down here, just scan around for enemies so we can try to make a run for that building. So we're heading to the blue-topped mushroom building. That's going to be our entrance to testing ground number 1. The red-topped ones are save rooms. The blue-topped ones tend to be testing ground entrances, although not always. There are a couple of lootable items in all those vehicles that are parked around here. I think we may grab some of them later on, but nothing super important.
Around here all goddamn day.
Think carefully, Comrade Major. Is there anything you might have failed to consider? There must be a way into the VDNH.
So this obviously is not the VDNH. The VDNH is where we have to go for the main story, but we want to complete all of these testing grounds first. So we hit the button, go into the elevator, cut out the long elevator ride, and then when the doors open, we are in section 1 of testing ground 1. And here, you can explore a little bit. That's where we need to go. There's a save room to the left there.
Yeah, I know your science shit. All you do is deceive honest citizens with the concept
Go ahead and
of a
enter the
bright
save room
future.
and make sure to save your game,
Let's
so that
take
we
a
don't
look
have
at the
to
gear that'll help me
repeat
see
all
tomorrow.
of the steps that we did previously. Then we enter through this door. And this is going to be our little tutorial area on how this testing ground works. We need to shock those blue and red magnets that are in the ceiling to make the walls move. Here you quickly want to jump across and then pass under, because those walls don't stay where you put them. Other times they will, but just for the tutorial section they don't. So once you pass through this door into the hallway, this is the first section of the testing ground. We need to make our way across and get to the door with the red light above it. So we'll have to move these boxes up and down. Here, I totally botched that. So we'll just shock it again to put the boxes back in place. You can climb up here, and then I'm going to look around for a little bit, but we're not going to shock the ceiling again just yet. As you can see, my health is building back up naturally, and you'll see the screen will do a little blip sort of when it stops. We're going to climb up here and then jump on top of this cable that runs along the wall. Just duck down, and from here we can shock the ceiling to move this box in front of us and climb onto it and jump across and dash in the air. And that little blip we just saw means our suit is no longer healing us. That's the most healing we're gonna get. Open up the chest for blueprint number 27. Jump up on that box and jump across to exit section 1. To the left, we can loot a few items. Once we go through here, we're going to take the hallway to the left, or the right, take a right. That door and that door lead to the same place, so it doesn't matter which one you choose. There's really nothing here except a vent, which we will crawl through. Again, as usual, the vents are linear. It looks like there are other ways you can go, but all the paths that the game does not want you to take are blocked off. So you can't get lost. We'll drop down into this other vent here. And when we get to the end of the vent, you'll see immediately to the left is a save room. We want to run past that and go to the golden door that's open. We want to go in there.
What the hell is that?
A special transporter for valuable cargo, or Comrade Lootyagin, according to the employee's facetious name for it.
Valuable cargo is all well and good, but why is it
So
stuck
here,
there like that?
Its base
we
features
have
a
our
prototype
first,
of a
I'm going to
perpetual
attempt to
motion
say
engine
it,
that forces the
Lootyagin.
Give me the
I
short
just call it
version.
a Looty
Once
because it's
released,
easier.
it moves quickly
When you
between
complete
certain
section
set
1, you'll get a
points.
bronze
Dead
Looty.
still.
Section
Looks
2
like your
gives you a
perpetual
silver.
motion engine
Section
is
3 gives
busted.
you a gold. Each one has a blueprint in it, so we've opened that up and gotten blueprint number 28. We need to collect every Looty inside of each testing ground for a trophy. And of course, we need all of the blueprints as well. So let's head back to the save room, and here I'm going to pick up a quick trophy because I do have quite a lot of resources. We are going to craft 6 different consumable items. So I'm going to speed this up because you do craft the item and then you have to wait for Nora to spit it out. So we're going to craft each consumable item one time. And here, once we craft the final item, this gives us the Chemist trophy. Very easy trophy to pick up. Especially easy to do when you have a lot of materials at your disposal. Here I'm just going in my inventory to kind of move a few things around because I obviously don't need everything that I crafted. So far, as of the time of recording this voiceover, I have completed 3 testing grounds and they all seem to run pretty much the same. Your first section will be puzzle oriented, your second section will be combat oriented, and then your third section will be puzzle oriented again. It'll just be a little bit harder than the first section's puzzle. So they all seem to kind of follow that same pattern. Once you're finished, make sure that you save, and then we're going to enter this room. These are all pretty much just normal enemies. Go ahead and take them out.
The machines generate 2 million kilowatts hour of electricity a month. Enough to keep the entire testing ground operational for a year.
Once you have defeated the final enemy in this room, we are going to explore everything. There are quite a few items to grab. Now, we do not have a marker specifically for the testing ground. We just still have the same quest, I guess. It's the same one that we have in the open world section. If you saw, we just went into that small room and looted a few items, and once we come over here, this is where we need to go. So I have realized that I forgot something on the opposite side. See here, I'm going to go ahead and loot this room before we go back. But being that there's a save room there, that's what makes me realize that I forgot an item on the other side. So once we get this room completely looted, we're going to head back to the area where we had the combat. I know it's annoying, but don't skimp on looting everything, because we're starting to get into the meat now of the game, and we are going to need a lot of resources. So even though it might take a little while, don't skimp on the looting. You need as much as you can get. So we headed back straight across. We're going to go ahead and open up this chest in this hallway. I should have done that earlier. I just blinked, I guess. So now we're heading back to the opposite side. There's the hallway with the red light above it. We go there. We can enter through the hole in the wall. There's our save room. Be sure to save after you've looted everything, obviously, so we don't have to do it again. And here, we're going to shock these doors in order to move them. And you might be wondering, well, where's the looty? We finished section 2. Well, they're often hidden pretty well. So there you have to shock that door again. We went down the hall, but we didn't need to. We need to go the other hall to get our silver looty. Once we open that, we get blueprint number 29. Now we can head back and go into this red door, and this will be section 3. I find this section is actually easier than the first one. So here we're just gonna run across, you jump and dash, go down all the way to the other side, and we're gonna climb right here and do one of these easy little wire puzzles. That one has a splitter as well. We're just going to move that to the top because we don't need it. And now our door is open so we can shock the top, run, dash, and we've made it. There's really nothing else to do in here. So we will head through this door.
It's no surprise to find access to modern weaponry deep within civilian testing grounds. Science and war have always gone hand in hand.
Is that what your programming tells you to think?
Shall we say, that's what I believe. Even the cartoons you're so fond of started out as revolutionary intelligence gathering methods, lamentable though it may be.
This room up to the right,
War is the engine of progress.
when you exit the room, go to the right, the first door to the right. There is one lone Bova here, no problem at all, and lots of loot.
Cartoons.
Heading up here, there's just a single chest, and there's really nothing else. So we'll turn around, head to the opposite end of the hallway from where we entered this area. The gold door to the left has our final looty of this testing ground, the gold one. And in here, we are going to get blueprint number 30 and blueprint number 31. That one holds 2 blueprints. Not all of them hold 2, but that one does. So then we just come across the room into the save room. You can use the Nora station. We're gonna try and get some upgrades done. We have quite a lot of neopolymer right now. I know the character section has the most squares to upgrade, but they are very, very useful. Be sure to save before you exit this area, because once we get on the elevator, we are going back up to the surface, and we have to trek a good ways before we make it to our next testing ground. So here we will exit, hit the button for the elevator. And of course, I'm going to cut out this very long elevator ride. Once the door opens, we are at that red building that we saw earlier. We want to go to the back of that building, pass behind this red house, and we are going to find Necromancer number 15 on the ground here. So we'll talk to him and exhaust his dialogue. I know, he's got some really interesting things to say.
Theoretical physicists. Why did I even go?
Well, live and learn, right?
Now from here, we can turn around. There's a red top mushroom. That's obviously a save area, but we're going to go back this way. This is where we came out of the elevator. The little door has gone down. And we're going to head over to that red building. We want to go inside of there. Just take out the enemies as needed. When you scan the area, I don't know if you saw at the top, there was like a blue greenish coloring on the top. That's going to be one of those terminals for us to access the cameras. That's why we need to go up here. We are going to open up a very small gray building. There's one in each area that controls the hawks, those things that fly around at the top. The hawks control all of the robotics in that section, and we're going to take it down just to make life a little bit easier for us, at least for a little while. But we need to get to that terminal in order to do this. So up here, there you can see the terminal. We're going to access it and go into the camera system. That there is the hawk. It's floating in the sky. That's why it looks a little bit different. There it is in the sky. So we access the camera. You may have to pick a few different cameras before we can find the correct one. And it looks, I didn't even notice if I unlocked anything. I may not have. Not every terminal accesses every camera in the area. I must not have. Anyway, we're going to head over to this mushroom building, the red mushroom building, for a save station. I just used the Nora, so I really don't need to do anything there at the moment. From here, see that little gray building? We're going to climb up here. I must have already unlocked it. And we're going to use this little spider thing that the man gave us when we crashed the train. Here, we can overload the relay, which is going to force the hawk down from the sky. And it'll have to be repaired, so it gives us a little bit of breathing room. All of the cameras in the immediate area will be shut down. See, there's the hawk coming down. It'll shut down all the cameras. It'll shut down all of the robotics just in that section. So here you can see there are several of those saw robots. They're just sitting there. They're not moving. They've been completely disabled. So you can tell that is really, really nifty. At this point, we are heading over to, I guess the area is called a Polygon, Polygon number 6, which is going to bring us into testing ground number 6. We're going to have to go over here and do the same thing that we did before. We'll have to find terminals and use the camera system to unlock doors. Here, I'm just looting stuff here over by the crashed train. You don't have to. I like looting everything that I can. You want to keep on running along this area. This hawk is still in use over here, so there are enemies around. You can come over to this bus station here, and there are a couple of boxes to loot. Do beware of the enemies, though. Oh, he caught me way off guard. Now here, there's more red cars. You can hop into them if you like and run over some enemies. There is a trophy for hitting 20 different enemies with a car. On my first hit, I crashed a car. Can you believe that? Woman drivers, I swear. Anyway, we're going to follow along the shoreline here. I'm not going to go into that building yet. We want to bypass that, run along the shoreline, and head over to that mushroom building that you can see kind of in the water. This big pipe here is what's going to lead us into the testing ground. However, we are not there yet. That polymer on your left, you can swim up it and get into that box for some loot if you like. On the edge of this save room is our next Chirper, Chirper number 29. I feel like it's been a while since we got a Chirper.
So, what will it be, Major?
Inside the save room, you can use the Nora station if you like. Be sure to save so you don't have to repeat anything. Here I did buy, was it the Frostbite? Once you buy that, you will have to actually install it, and you'll have to use either the left or right on the D-pad to enable it. And you can, once you get more than one, you'll be able to switch it, and you literally shoot frost out from your glove. So yeah, that's really, really handy. You can also see just a moment ago, one of the upgrades that we got is the ability to use medical capsules with just one hand. That helps a lot. It's super fantastic. So once we exit here, we want to head across the water to that tower. It's another one of those towers where you stand on the yellow plate and it brings you right up. There is a terminal inside of there, which will allow us to unlock testing ground number 6. Here we're going to access this terminal, and where the question mark is, it's a testing ground. We need to use the camera system to unlock the door. See there, we can access the hawk from there. We unlocked that through this camera. Now we can go in there and work on the hawk. And then we use the other camera to open up the door to the testing ground. And that's pretty much it for the terminal. From here we can just head right back down, and we're going to make a beeline for the testing ground entrance. Now, just so that you are aware, that hawk in this section is tethered, and we actually we can't disable that hawk. We have to bring it down for repairs to progress in the main story. When we enter this area, that Vova will come alive. Just take care of him, or you can just leave. You can just swim to the entrance of the testing ground if you like. But, you know, we get items if we handle him, so we're going to swim through this pipe, and when we come out, we will be at the elevator. Yeah, anyway, what I was saying before, we have to use that hawk to progress the storyline, so we're kind of leaving that alone at the moment. I'm trying to get these testing grounds taken care of first. Now here, we're going to call the elevator. We're going to get on and go down. And, of course, I'm not going to torture you with the long elevator ride. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the majority of it.
Ah, another dungeon.
This is the testing ground, Major. There should be weapons here.
Testing ground, dungeon, same difference. Let's find the stuff and get
When we
moving.
enter through here, there is a lot to loot. So while we're doing that, I do think it's very funny that Nechayev called this a dungeon because it kind of does feel like a dungeon. A very technologically sophisticated dungeon, but a dungeon still. There are lots of items around here. Make sure that you grab everything that you can before we enter into section 1 of Testing Ground 6. I'm going to follow along this hall and loot even more. This testing ground was pretty fun. I enjoyed the puzzles in it. I do them way faster in this video than I did them when I was figuring it out for sure. So hopefully I can help you guys get through it a little faster, because man, I had to, especially that first one, I had to sit and think for quite a while. The second one's not so bad, but the first one, you know, I had to count. You'll understand. You'll see it when you see it. Here we have our save room. Be sure to save before we enter into section 1. And now we're going to go through this fenced door to enter the section. So what we have to do is these, what I'm walking on now, it's shaped like a plus sign. We have to spin these around to be able to pass through at the top. To the right, there's a door in the wall. We have to spin these to be able to access it. You want to spin it one time and then jump across to this one and unlock this door. If you get them right and the door is not unlocked, you can't pass through. So we have to unlock this door first. Once that's completed, we're going to hop down and we're going to go back over here to spin this wheel again. We spin it one more time and then you get another wheel that's only going to spin in front of you. So we're going to spin it once. And then if you jump over here and look, you can see we need the one at the bottom left. We need that shelf to be able to climb on. So that has to be spun 3 times. 1, 2, 3 to get it in the correct spot. But the one at the top, we have to get that one equivalent to where if we spin the wheel here 3 times, it'll have the door facing the opening in the wall. So we're going to come back here and spin this one. 1, 2 times. And then when we spin the wheel here, 3 spins, everything will be aligned. Then we have the shelf to climb on, and the door is in the correct spot to where we can pass through the wall. So there's nothing down there. We're going to go ahead and jump across now onto the shelf. Then we can pass through the door here and climb up the yellow smeared painted wall. Lots to loot in here again. And I'm sure you noticed, I was too busy talking, but all of those mannequins, yes, you got that right. They were all in very suggestive positions. I don't know who was working in this area, but they must have had a whole lot of frustration going on. You know what I mean? We see that a couple of times, especially in these testing grounds. These people must have been extremely secluded and extremely bored. If you go through this door, there's nothing here, as you can tell. So, we're going to pass through this second hole in the wall. Here you can see on the left is our save room, and the golden door is straight ahead, bringing us to our bronze Looty.
You seem rather gloomy. Is something wrong?
No, I just feel like I had a bad dream or something, and this guy was there.
Pull yourself together.
Here, I think that was another hint that we just got from Nichaya when he said he had a dream about Lootyagin being there. I think this is another hint. I honestly think he might be dead. But I can't prove that. I just keep seeing all these little hints and I think they're interesting. Here we just head up the stairs and through the door. This is going to bring us to section number 2, our combat section, and we have to fight a bunch of Pachellas. And once we get rid of these, we'll have owls. So yeah, there will be lasers everywhere. It's very frustrating, but not too difficult. Now that we've gotten rid of the Pachellas, we have a bunch of owls to deal with. And these are much harder to get rid of. See what I mean about lasers everywhere? So we're going to try and take out all of them as quickly as possible. Now we can go ahead and loot all of the carcasses that are all around. If you're having trouble seeing where all of the metal carcasses are, you can scan the room and it will let you know if you missed any. So you can see there was one I missed against the wall. And once we have everything, we're dropping down into this vent. This is a very unique vent. I like it a lot. If we take the right, once we get to the bottom, we can access a chest here. Continue on. On the right, there's just a body, but there's nothing else there. That poor guy. And then we're going to climb on up out of this vent. And here, there is our golden door for us to grab the silver looty. This is looty number 5 and blueprint number 33. Now we're going up these stairs and heading for section number 3 of testing ground 6. As we go through this door, if we go to the right, there isn't anything there, so we're gonna turn around and go the opposite direction. And as we enter this room, we see our next puzzle.
Is responsible for
This one's pretty easy. It's more about getting lucky than actually solving a puzzle, to be honest. I'm coming down here, but fair warning, there's nothing down here.
Producing design specifications and estimates.
I thought maybe there would be a chest, but I was wrong.
Planning-related statements of work.
And I do know that I am going to skip a chest. Honestly, I know that there's nothing super important inside of it, so I just didn't even bother going to look for a way to get there. Here we want to jump onto this plus sign shelf thing, climb up, and then jump over. There's yellow paint splattered everywhere, so you really can't miss it. In this room, there's a hole in the floor. We're going to drop down into that. And we're going to open up this chest here. This chest is going to give us blueprint number 34. And then we're going to unlock this door. You don't have to, but it's good practice for these puzzles. These are not my favorite puzzles. I think you figured that out already. It just brings us back around. The door we just went through that wasn't open, now it is. So here, there's the wheel for us to spin the plus sign shelves. But we really don't need to. We can easily cheese this, climb up here, jump over to the yellow paint splattered section, and then you'll be crouched, but you can jump and dash across, and then jump and dash across again to make it to the other side. This is the chest I was telling you about that I left. I think I have to go down
Not bad.
in order to get it, but
better, Comrade Major.
Was
I
that a
didn't really
joke?
feel like doing it.
At whose expense?
Here's our final
get going.
looty, the golden looty. And it gives us blueprint number 35 and blueprint number 36. It is also our 6th Lootyagin. And here, we're going to head to the save room and boot up Nora. Here, there are several items that we can craft. I'm going to go ahead and craft this Dominator. I don't care for the weapon very much, but we do have to craft 5 different types of weapons. So I'm going to go ahead and craft this one just to add to that list. We can get a little bit closer to that trophy. And here I'm gonna just move a few items around in my inventory to make room for that weapon that we are crafting now. Well, I hope you guys feel accomplished. We have just completed 2 whole testing grounds. We still have a few more to go, but pat yourself on the back. And while you're at it, give me a like and a subscribe if you have enjoyed this walkthrough and you found it helpful. I know I enjoyed it. I love doing this with you guys. It's so much fun. So much fun that I can't wait to see you on part 9. So until then, Khajiit always has wares.